You move to a new country with one suitcase, 3 dreams, and a suspicious amount of confidence. You imagine the first apartment will be the beginning of your new life. A balcony, little coffee table, maybe a view of old roofs, mountains, sea, or at least a street where someone is selling oranges and not judging your language skills. And then reality enters the chat. The rent is higher than expected. The deposit is bigger than expected. The agent fee appears from the shadows. The landlord wants documents you do not have yet. The good apartments disappear faster than your motivation after reading a rental contract in Greek, Italian, Portuguese, or Albanian. Welcome to the rent trap. Today we are talking about why expats almost always overpay for their first apartment, especially in places like Albania, Italy, Greece, and Portugal. And more importantly, how to reduce the damage before your relocation budget gets eaten alive by just one temporary place. Because your first apartment abroad is rarely your best apartment. Usually it is your landing pad. Sometimes it is your lesson. And sometimes, sadly, it is a very expensive classroom with bad Wi-Fi. The first mistake. The biggest mistake is thinking that your first apartment is only about rent. It is not. The real cost is not just the monthly price. The real cost is the entire entry package. Rent, deposit, advance payment, agency fee, temporary accommodation, furniture premium, utility confusion, contract registration, possible repairs, time pressure, language problems, and that small emotional fee called, "I just want this to be over." That last one is not written in the contract, but it is usually the most expensive. When you arrive in a new country, you're not only choosing a home, you are buying speed, certainty, access, and trust. And in foreign rental markets, all 4 are sold at premium prices. A local person may know which neighborhoods are overpriced, which agent is useless, which landlord is flexible, and which apartment has been online for 3 months because the bathroom looks like it survived a minor historical event. You, as a newcomer, usually see only the visible layer. And the visible layer is expensive. Visible means expensive. Expats usually begin the search on large platforms, English-friendly listings, Facebook groups, relocation agents, Airbnb-style monthly stays, and furnished apartments that are ready to move in. That phrase sounds nice. Ready to move in means you do not need to buy furniture, set up utilities immediately, or negotiate for 3 weeks using Google Translate as your diplomatic advisor. But it also means you are in the expensive part of the market. The cheaper long-term rental market is often less visible. It may move through local agents, local language listings, personal networks, small property offices, neighborhood groups, or direct owner contacts. That is true in different ways across Albania, Italy, Greece, and Portugal. In Albania, you may find many apartments listed online, especially in Tirana or coastal cities like Vlora, Durrës, and Saranda. But not all available housing is truly available for stable long-term living. Some of it is seasonal. Some is meant for tourists. Some is priced for foreigners. Some is empty, but not really on the normal rental market. In Italy, especially in cities like Milan, Rome, Bologna, or Florence, the formal rental market can be competitive and bureaucratic. You may see a nice listing, but the landlord may prefer someone with an Italian work contract, stable local income, and paperwork that does not look like it came from 5 countries and a cloud folder. In Greece, Athens and Thessaloniki can look cheaper per square meter than Milan or Lisbon, but the trap is different. Central areas, furnished units, tourist pressure, and agent commissions can quickly turn a reasonable apartment into a not-so-reasonable first-year cost. In Portugal, especially Lisbon and Porto, demand has been intense. Even when prices cool for a few months, the market can still feel like a polite knife fight where everyone smiles while asking for documents, guarantors, deposits, and advance payments. The expat premium. The expat premium is not always someone trying to scam you. Sometimes it is simply the market pricing your lack of local context. You do not know the normal price per square meter. You do not know whether that neighborhood is actually practical. You do not know if the landlord is asking for normal conditions or inventing a fantasy sport called Deposit Olympics. You may not know whether 1 month of agency fee is standard, negotiable, excessive, or just Tuesday. You may not know what should be registered, where it should be registered, and whether a simple private agreement is a normal shortcut or a future headache wearing sunglasses. So the market charges you for that uncertainty. Not because it is fair, because it can. Time pressure tax. The second big reason expats overpay is time pressure. When you are still abroad, apartment hunting feels abstract. You open listings. You save a few places. You think, I'll deal with it when I arrive. Then you arrive. Suddenly, your temporary accommodation ends in 6 days. Your suitcase is still unpacked. Your SIM card does not work properly. You need a tax number, a bank account, maybe a residence appointment, maybe a school address, maybe proof of housing. Now, every apartment viewing feels like a small trial by fire. At this point, you are no longer negotiating from strength. You are negotiating from a calendar. Landlords can smell urgency. Agents can smell urgency. Even the kitchen chair can smell urgency. And urgency has a price. This is why the classic expat mistake is booking 1 month in a temporary place and assuming that will be enough to calmly find the perfect apartment. Sometimes it works. Often, it does not. The smarter move is not to find the perfect apartment immediately. The smarter move is to buy yourself enough time without getting trapped in an expensive temporary solution. Temporary can become permanent. A temporary apartment can be useful. 7 to 14 days after arrival can help you inspect neighborhoods, attend viewings, open local accounts, and understand the rhythm of the city. But 1 to 3 months in a high-priced furnished or short-stay place can quietly destroy your relocation budget. This is especially dangerous in tourist-heavy markets. In Portugal, short-term and residential rental products are legally and practically different. In Greece, tourist demand has shaped rental behavior in central Athens and coastal areas. In Albania, coastal cities can look full of empty apartments outside high season, but that does not automatically mean there is a healthy long-term rental market. In Italy, furnished and transitional contracts can be easier to enter, but often more expensive. The trap is simple. You rent temporary housing just for now. Then, normal apartments are harder to secure than expected. Then you extend. Then you extend again. Then your first 3 months abroad cost as much as a minor space program. The deposit monster. The rent trap is not only monthly rent. It is the upfront cash. In many places, you may need the first month, a deposit, sometimes advance rent, sometimes an agent fee, sometimes extra payments for utilities or building costs. In Italy, deposits are formally limited, but in practice, you still need to understand the contract type, registration, fees, and what exactly is being paid. In Greece, deposits of 1 or 2 months are common, and agent fees can be negotiable, but you need to ask clearly before the process starts. In Portugal, the pressure can be heavy because landlords may ask for deposit, advance rent, and sometimes a guarantor. If you do not have a local guarantor, they may ask for more upfront security. In Albania, practices may be more informal, and that can be convenient but also risky. Informality is comfortable until there is a dispute. This is why looking only at the rent is dangerous. A €900 apartment with reasonable upfront terms can be cheaper than a €750 apartment that asks for several months upfront, unclear utility payments, and an agent fee that appears like a surprise boss battle. Monthly rent lies. Monthly rent is a headline. Effective cost is the truth. You need to calculate the full first-year cost. For example, monthly rent multiplied by 12, plus agency fee, plus deposit risk, plus temporary accommodation, plus moving costs, plus setup costs, plus repairs or missing items, plus the cost of leaving early if the place turns out to be wrong. A cheaper apartment can become expensive if you leave after 3 months and lose part of your deposit. An expensive apartment can become less painful if it is well located, properly registered, stable for a year, and does not require constant repairs. This is not glamorous. Nobody moves to Lisbon or Tirana because they dream of spreadsheets. But a spreadsheet before signing is cheaper than regret after signing. Country differences matter. Let's break this down by country. Albania. Easy, but informal. Albania can feel accessible compared with Western Europe. Tirana has become more visible for expats and digital workers. Coastal cities like Durrës, Vlora, and Saranda attract people looking for sea, lower costs, and a slower rhythm. But the danger is assuming that lower prices mean lower risk. Albania's rental market can be less standardized. You may find deals through Facebook, local agents, personal contacts, or direct owners. That can work well, but it also means you must be extra careful with written terms. In coastal cities, seasonality matters. An apartment that is cheap in winter may not be available in summer, or the owner may suddenly remember that tourists exist and your peaceful long-term life becomes a calendar negotiation. The key question in Albania is not only how much is the rent. It is this truly available long-term, including summer? Also ask what is included: utilities, internet, building fees, repairs, furniture condition, and whether the landlord expects payment in cash or bank transfer. Cash may be common in some situations, but a payment trail protects you. In Albania, the trap is not always high rent. The trap is unclear terms. Italy. Bureaucracy with espresso. Italy has beauty, structure, and paperwork that sometimes seems designed by someone who loved stamps a little too much. For renters, Italy can offer formal contract types, standard long-term leases, agreed rent contracts, and transitional contracts. That structure can protect you, but only if you understand what you are signing. In cities like Milan, Rome, Bologna, and Florence, rental demand can be high. Milan especially is expensive. Rome can also be costly in desirable areas. Bologna has student pressure. Florence has tourism pressure. The first expat trap in Italy is taking the easiest furnished or transitional option without understanding whether a better registered long-term contract was possible. The second trap is not checking the contract registration process. The third is ignoring the difference between headline rent and total monthly obligations, such as condominium charges, heating, utilities, and maintenance. Italy rewards preparation. If you arrive with documents ready, proof of income, tax code if possible, references, and a clear idea of acceptable contract types, you look less risky. Less risky tenants usually get better options. Not always, but often enough to matter. Greece. Cheaper is not simple. Greece can look attractive because many rents are lower than in Lisbon, Milan, or Rome. But lower does not mean easy. Athens, Thessaloniki, islands, and coastal areas each behave differently. Central Athens has tourist pressure. Some neighborhoods have strong demand. Furnished apartments can carry a premium. Agent fees need to be clarified. Contract terms and registration matter. In Greece, one important point is to avoid paying before proper checks. Do not pay a deposit or agency commission before you understand who you are dealing with, what property is being rented, and whether the agreement is real. Also ask about repairs, maintenance, and rent increases. In many expat-friendly markets, the apartment may look fine in photos, then reality introduces you to plumbing, heating, noise, old windows, or furniture that has seen more history than the National Museum. Greece can be a great place to live, but your first apartment should not be chosen only by sunlight on the balcony. Sunlight is lovely. Bad plumbing is louder. Portugal. Demand eats budgets. Portugal is one of the most obvious examples of the rent trap. Lisbon and Porto became extremely attractive to remote workers, expats, investors, students, and locals, trying not to be priced out of their own cities. Even when the market cools, the pressure can remain high. The Portuguese trap often has 3 layers. First, strong demand for normal rentals. Second, Landlords asking for strong guarantees, sometimes a local guarantor, proof of income, advance rent, or higher deposits. Third, new arrivals using temporary housing while searching, which becomes expensive very quickly. If you are moving to Portugal, do not assume that because you can pay the rent, the landlord will automatically choose you. They may prefer someone with local income, a Portuguese guarantor, or simpler paperwork. Your job is to reduce perceived risk. Prepare documents. Be clear. Offer traceable payment. Understand what can and cannot be reasonably asked. Avoid panic payments. And please do not wire money to someone because the apartment photos look dreamy and the owner said they are currently abroad. That sentence has eaten many deposits across Europe. How to reduce losses. The solution is not never overpay. You probably will overpay a little. The goal is to overpay intelligently. Your first apartment should buy you stability, legal clarity, and time. It should not become a financial swamp. So here is a practical approach. Buy time first. Before arrival, book temporary housing for a short but realistic period. Not one night, not 3 months. Often, 7 to 14 days gives you breathing room without locking you into an expensive short stay trap. Use that time to visit neighborhoods, test commute routes, check noise, inspect buildings, and meet agents or owners in person. Do not choose a long-term apartment entirely from photos unless you have a trusted person checking it locally. Photos are not evidence. Photos are marketing with curtains. Benchmark before viewing. Before you attend viewings, build your local benchmark. Do not compare only total rent. Compare price per square meter, neighborhood, contract length, furnished versus unfurnished, building condition, floor, heating, utilities, and included costs. In Italy and Portugal, compare city-level rents carefully. Milan and Lisbon are very different from smaller towns. Porto, Bologna, Rome, Athens, Thessaloniki, Tirana, Saranda, and Vlora each have their own logic. You need to know when a price is genuinely fair and when it is just foreigner-friendly, which is sometimes a polite way to say wallet-friendly for the landlord. Prepare your file. A strong renter file reduces landlord fear. Prepare passport or ID, proof of income, work contract or business income proof, bank statements if appropriate, tax number if you already have it, references, and a short explanation of who you are and why you are renting. This sounds boring, but boring wins apartments. A landlord does not need your life story. They need to know you can pay, stay, and not turn the living room into a goat sanctuary. Unless it is Albania and the goat has paperwork. Still, probably no. Negotiate the structure. Do not negotiate only monthly rent. Negotiate the structure. Can the deposit be lower? Can part of the furniture be repaired before move-in? Can the landlord include building charges? Can the rent be fixed for the first year? Can there be a clear early exit clause? Can the contract be registered properly? Can the agency fee be reduced or clarified? Sometimes landlords will not reduce the headline rent, but may accept better terms elsewhere. That can save more money than a tiny rent discount. A €50 monthly discount is nice. Not losing a 2-month deposit is better. Check before paying. This rule is cold and simple. Do not pay before verification. Check the identity of the landlord or agency. Check the property address. Check the contract draft. Check whether the person has the right to rent it. Check what exactly your payment means. Is it a deposit? Reservation fee? First month? Agency commission? Refundable? Non-refundable? Under what conditions? If the answer is vague, the money should stay in your account. Urgency is not evidence. A charming message is not evidence. A beautiful kitchen is definitely not evidence. Beautiful kitchens have betrayed many people. Document everything. When you move in, take photos and videos. Walls, floors, furniture, appliances, windows, bathroom, kitchen, meters, keys, existing damage. Make an inventory list. Send it in writing. This protects your deposit. Most deposit fights are not philosophical debates about justice. They are boring arguments about whether the sofa was already damaged. Photos win boring arguments. Expect the second move. This may be the most important mindset shift. Your first apartment abroad does not need to be perfect. It needs to be safe, legal, livable, and not financially stupid. After 3 to 6 months, you will understand the city better. You will know where people actually live, where transport works, where prices are inflated, and where your daily life feels natural. Your second apartment is often the real apartment. The first one is the bridge. Do not build a palace on the bridge. The real strategy. The rent trap works because expats arrive with weak information and strong emotions. They want the new life to start. They want certainty. They want a place to put the suitcase and say, okay, I live here now. That feeling is powerful. But relocation is not a movie scene. It is logistics with a sunset. So the real strategy is simple. Buy time. Reduce uncertainty. Prepare documents. Understand local pricing. Avoid unclear payments. Register the contract. Protect the deposit. And do not confuse the first apartment with the final chapter of your new life. Final thought. Moving abroad is not only about changing your address. It is about changing the rhythm of your days. The street where you buy bread, the balcony where you drink coffee, the language you slowly begin to understand, the tiny routines that make a foreign city feel less like a map and more like your life. So yes, be careful with rent. Read the contract. Count the money. Ask uncomfortable questions. But do not let the fear of overpaying steal the beauty of the move. A new country will not give you a perfect life on day one. But if you protect your first steps, it may give you something better. Space to become a slightly braver version of yourself. And now I want to ask you, if you had to choose your first expat apartment by only one feature, what would save your sanity? Sea view, low rent, quiet neighbors, or a landlord who replies faster than a pizza delivery app?